the tension pulley. This is what puts the tension on your belt. I had to swap that out. So when I took this one, original one, out, this is what it looked like. Okay, I don't know if you can see the detail. The spring actually sits below this part, because what happens when you take this off, the spring drops in here, and this is what the part looks like when you take it off. Now when I bought a new part, this spring was actually loose in the box. And let me show you how this thing looked. Okay, so when I bought this part, brand new part, it looked just like that. The spring was loose, and I was trying to hook it anyway. It has to be hooked in the back here, because I didn't show you the back. In the back it has to be hooked like so. This has to go right in here, and then in the front, see how it's short? Now you have to twist it. Now of course this takes a lot of force. You have to twist it and then hook this on the other side, and then not only that, place the spring right on top here. Now you can see this one still has a little bit of groove. That's the original part, Ford part, that they actually placed a groove in here to retain that spring. Of course the part I bought, this thing was slanted like that, and even if I pushed the spring in here, it kept sliding back and just snapping back in place. So what I did is I took a little file and I created this groove, so when I loaded the spring on top of it, it would stay in place. And then I was able to bolt this thing on the engine block and fit the spring over this thing. Okay, so to install this tool, this is what it has to look like. It has to be hooked in here, but it also has to be hooked on top here, placed on top of that. And this creates this big opening here, because on the engine block, this is what it looks like on the engine block. You screw it in with a bolt, and then you got this protrusion that's actually coming out like this. And this protrusion here that's on the engine block has to go inside here, this slot. And of course there's only 2 videos on YouTube, and then the 2 videos on YouTube showing how to do this thing, they just all remove it out of the box and screw it in. Okay, so just to recap this whole thing, basically when you buy this part, you can find the part like you see it here. Those 2 parts at the Autozone, this is what they look like, where the spring actually fell behind this little tab, where, like I said before, it has to sit right on top of it. And then my part, when it came in, the spring was loose. And what happens is this happens in the shipping, and this spring either falls behind, like you see it right now, or either falls off, and you have to put it back on here, because the way it is, this is the way when you take it off out of the engine block, this is what it looks like, because it falls off this little tab here as you take it off, and just basically hooks on this thing when you pull it, and then falls behind it like that. So you think, okay, when you take it off, this is what it looks like, so the new part got to look the same way to put it on. But basically, there's not enough room in here to fit this tab. So when you try to screw it in like you see it here, which 2 Autozone parts look like this, basically this tab here is just pushing on the spring instead of going on the inside here. On the inside here, it's basically pushing on the face of it and starts compressing this spring, and then it doesn't work, doesn't even want to move. So it's just a stupid design. I've never seen it before like that. And then, like I said, my part didn't even have a nice groove in here to retain this spring in the place. So any little bump, it would just fall off. So it's just something silly, you know, but hey, that's how it goes.